In a world where myths are written in stone and legends roar louder than storms, one beast has always stood above the rest. Not a monster, not a nightmare, but a thing. His name is whispered through generations, feared by enemies, and worshipped by those who believe in power beyond men. This is the story of Kong. Long before the clash of titans shook the modern world, long before cities trembled under the weight of giants, there was an island, a place cut off from time itself. An island where the laws of man held no meaning. That place was Skull Island. Shrouded in mist, cursed by storms, and guarded by beasts older than history. It was here that Kong first drew breath. Kong was not born as a king. He was born into war. From his first steps, he faced predators as tall as mountains and enemies that lurked in the shadows of the jungle. The island was a battlefield where only the strongest survived. Yet, even as a young beast, Kong carried something different within him. Not just muscle and fury, but purpose. He was a creature shaped by the island itself, chosen by nature to rise above all others. The people of the island knew this. To them, Kong was not a beast to be feared, but a god to be honored. They painted his image on stone walls, carved his face into towering idols, and told stories of how Kong kept the balance between life and death. When storms tore through the skies, it was Kong who stood against creatures that would destroy their world. When the earth shook with the footsteps of rival titans, it was Kong who fought to protect what was his. He was not only a survivor, he was a guardian, but being a guardian came with endless battles. For every enemy Kong defeated, another rose to challenge him. Some were beasts of flesh and claw, others were horrors that crawled out from beneath the earth itself. Each battle left scars etched deep into his body, but also deeper into his legend. These scars were proof that Kong was more than just another titan. He was the one who would endure when all others fell. Through years of struggle, Kong grew. The jungle could not contain his power. His roars shook mountains and his strikes crushed stone. The titans of Skull Island learned to fear him, and even the skies seemed to bow to his presence. He became more than a creature of the wild. He became a living myth, a force written into the bones of the earth. Yet beyond the island, the world changed. Cities rose, armies grew stronger, and humans searched for answers to powers they could never control. What they did not know was that Kong's destiny stretched far beyond the shores of Skull Island. His rise was not only about survival, it was about preparing for a war that would decide the fate of the planet itself. Kong's story was only beginning. The world has always belonged to the Titans. Long before humans built their first cities, before kings claimed their thrones, these colossal beings ruled the land, the sea, and the skies. For ages, they remained hidden, slumbering in the shadows of the earth, waiting for the time when balance would once again be tested. That time has come. It begins with a tremor. The ground splits, oceans churn, storms rise with unnatural fury. These are not accidents of nature, they are warnings. Signals of a war that cannot be avoided. From the depths of the oceans, from the hollows of the earth, from mountains untouched for centuries, the Titans awaken. They are not many, but each one carries the strength to end civilizations in a single clash. Among them is Godzilla, the ancient Leviathan, the ruler of the seas, a living force of destruction. His roar echoes across continents, a sound that shakes human armies and makes even Titans hesitate. To the world, Godzilla is both protector and destroyer, a being beyond human understanding. Yet even his reign is challenged. For on land there stands another, Kong the warrior forged in blood, scars, and fire. A titan not of the sea or the sky, but of the earth itself. He is not driven by chaos, but by survival and purpose. And now, the paths of these giants cross once again, but Godzilla is not Kong's only enemy. The ancient order of titans is breaking apart, and new threats rise from the shadows. Massive creatures each carrying the mark of extinction emerge to claim dominion over the world. Winged serpents that blacken the skies. Behemoths with armored hides that thunder through valleys. And beneath them all, a presence far more terrifying, an alpha that has waited in silence. Older than Godzilla, older than Kong, hungrier than both, The earth becomes their battlefield. Cities crumble beneath their footsteps. Human weapons fall useless, their power meaningless against gods of flesh and bone. Skyscrapers become toothpicks in their hands. Rivers boil under their fury. Entire nations watch as titans tear the sky open with each clash. The war is not hidden anymore. It is broadcast to every corner of the globe. Humanity can no longer deny the truth. They are not the rulers of this planet. They are witnesses, spectators, survivors caught in the middle of a war older than mankind itself. As Kong rises to meet his rivals, the world sees not just a beast, but a champion. He is the only titan who fights not just for dominance, but for balance. His fists crash against scales tougher than steel. His roar collides with Godzilla's thunder, and with each blow the earth trembles. But this war is not only between two kings. It is a storm of titans, a clash of gods, and the battlefield is the entire planet. The war of the titans is not simply about who is strongest. It is about who will shape the future of the earth. Will it be ruled by chaos, where monsters crush everything in their path? Or will it find balance under the hand of a protector, one willing to bleed for a world that may never understand him? As towers fall and oceans rise, only one truth remains certain. This is not the end of the world. It is the end of an age. And from its ashes a new ruler must emerge. The roar of the titans fills the skies, but among them one voice will rise above the rest. The battle is not just for survival. It is for the crown. The war has begun. Out of fire, out of blood, out of endless battles, something begins to change. Kong is no longer just a beast of Skull Island, no longer only a survivor fighting against extinction. He has become something greater, a leader, a warrior king. The age of Kong begins not with conquest, but with choice, the choice to rise above being just another titan, and to take his place as the protector of a world tearing itself apart for generations. The people of Skull Island had seen Kong as a guardian, but now, as titans wage war across the globe, humanity sees him too. They watch as he stands against monsters that could swallow armies whole, as he brings down rivals with his bare hands, as he wields not only his strength but the weapon of kings, a reforged axe glowing with ancient power. This is not a weapon of destruction alone. It is a symbol, proof that Kong carries within him the legacy of his ancestors. He is not fighting only for himself, he is fighting for all who call this world home. Kong grows wiser with every battle. His strikes are no longer wild blows of rage, but calculated attacks, honed with the instinct of a seasoned warrior. His roars are no longer cries of survival, but calls of dominance, declaring to the world that he will not yield. Even Godzilla, the mighty titan of the seas, comes to recognize Kong not as prey, not as challenger, but as equal. Where once they clashed with unending fury, now there is something different: respect. The kind that is born only when gods collide and live to tell the tale, but Kong's journey is not without sacrifice. Every step forward costs him something. Scars deepen across his body. Allies fall in battle. The earth itself groans beneath the weight of titans. Yet, with each loss, Kong grows not weaker, but stronger, carrying the burden of those who cannot fight for themselves. He becomes a bridge between two worlds, the primal and the human, the ancient and the modern. In him, the rage of the wild and the hope of mankind meet. The world begins to change around him. Tribes that once whispered his name now sing it with fire-lit chants. Children draw his image into the dust of broken cities. Soldiers, powerless against the titans, look to him with a strange new faith. They no longer see a beast, they see a protector. For the first time, humanity understands that Kong is not their enemy. He is their shield, and yet, being a king is not about ruling from a throne. It is about carrying the weight of the crown. Kong's crown is heavy. Every titan that rises, every new enemy that crawls from the dark is his burden to face. He does not choose peace because it is easy, he chooses it because someone must. And in a world of monsters, that someone can only be him. The age of Kong is not written in words or laws. It is written in battles fought across shattered landscapes, in the silence that follows after his roar fades, in the way the earth itself bends to his will. The skies are still filled with thunder, and the oceans still churn with fury, but when Kong stands, there is order. There is balance. He is no longer only king of Skull Island, he is king of a broken world. And from his towering shadow, a new age begins. The age of Kong is not just about survival, it is about destiny. It is about the rise of a titan who refuses to bow, refuses to vanish into myth, and instead steps forward to claim his place in history. The battle may not yet be won, but the crown has already found its rightful bearer. This is the age of Kong. The world burns. Cities lie in ruins. Oceans churn with the echoes of battles fought by gods. The sky itself feels cracked, painted red by fire and ash. For a time, it seems as though the planet cannot endure another clash, another roar, another strike of Titan against Titan. But from the smoke, from the rubble, from the silence that follows war, something new begins to rise. At the heart of this destruction stands Kong, scarred, battered, his breath heavy with the weight of endless battles but unbroken. His roar cuts through the silence like thunder breaking a storm. It is not the roar of a beast in rage. It is the roar of a king declaring his reign. Around him, the world takes a breath. The war is not over, but the tide has shifted. This is no longer the age of chaos. This is the dawn of something greater. The titans that remain bow, not with words but with silence. Their eyes lower, their fury dims as they acknowledge what the earth itself has chosen. Kong is not simply another alpha in the chain of dominance. He is the balance, the guardian, the king that was promised. Godzilla retreats into the depths of the sea, his roar echoing one last time, not in defiance, but in recognition. Two kings have clashed, and though both endure, only one now stands above the world. For humanity, the truth is undeniable. They cannot cage him. They cannot destroy him. They cannot rule over him. But they can stand beside him, and in doing so they find hope. Where once they saw monsters, now they see protectors. Kong is no longer a myth painted on ancient walls. He is a living force, a legend reborn before their very eyes. His silhouette against the rising sun becomes a symbol etched into human memory, as enduring as the pyramids, as eternal as the mountains. But this new era does not promise peace. New threats will come. The earth will always test its champions. From hidden depths, from distant skies, from shadows untouched by light, enemies will rise again. Yet, for the first time, the world has a leader strong enough to face them. Not as a destroyer, but as a guardian. The battles will continue, but the balance will hold. Because the one who carries the crown has accepted his burden. The dawn of a new era is not about the end of war, it is about the birth of order. A world where titans still walk, but not in endless chaos. A world where humans look to the horizon and know that beyond the ruins, there is a protector watching. The fires of war have not destroyed the earth. They have forged it anew. And standing in the center of that reborn world is Kong, the King of Kings. The sun rises. The smoke clears. The ground trembles not in fear, but in acknowledgement of its ruler. Kong lifts his weapon high, the axe glowing with the ancient fire of his ancestors. And with that, the age of uncertainty ends. The age of Kong is not coming. It is here. And as the world watches, one truth becomes eternal. The age of titans has ended. The age of Kong begins. The war is over. The dust has settled. Across the ruins of cities and the silence of broken landscapes, the echoes of battle slowly fade. What remains is not fear, but reverence. For out of the storm of chaos, one figure rises unchallenged. His shadow stretches longer than mountains. His roar echoes louder than thunder. His crown is not made of gold, but of scars and victories. This is the legacy of Kong. Legends are not born in peace. They are forged in conflict, tempered in fire, and tested by time itself. Kong's legend is no different. From his first steps on Skull Island to his battles against titans older than history, every moment has led to this. He is not a monster who conquered the world. He's a guardian who endured it. Every scar across his chest, every roar torn from his throat, every rival left broken beneath him, these are the marks of his reign. marks that no time, no enemy, no war can erase, and so, a new story begins. Children will not just whisper of Kong in fear, they will speak his name with awe. Tribes will carve his image not as a god of wrath, but as a protector of balance. Even humans who once aimed their weapons at him now raise their eyes to him in respect. He has crossed the line between myth and reality. He is no longer just the king of Skull Island. He is the king of Earth, but a king's journey never ends. For as long as the world breathes, new threats will emerge. Titans will rise, storms will return, and the balance will tremble. Kong knows this. He does not seek rest, nor does he demand worship. What he carries is heavier than any throne. It is duty, it is destiny. It is the eternal fight to protect a world that does not always understand him, but will always need him. The legacy of Kong is not only written in battles won, but in the silence after. In the calm that follows his roar. In the way the earth itself seems to bend to his presence. As the sun breaks over the horizon, its light painting the ruins with hope, the world knows it has entered a new chapter. Not an age of fear. Not an age of destruction. But an age ruled by strength, balance, and resilience. The age of Kong has begun. And it will not end with him. For as long as there are titans, his legend will endure. As long as there are shadows, his roar will echo through them. As long as the earth spins, the name of Kong will never be forgotten. He is not only a titan. He is not only a king. He is the beginning of a new world. A new era. A new destiny. And so the story closes not with silence, but with the voice of eternity. The age of titans has ended. The age of Kong begins.